Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're here, you're welcome. My name is Rosina Sharon, and today we are doing a highlight and contour routine from the very beginning. Okay, I'm going to make it very detailed as it can get. Before we do that, kindly subscribe. Please subscribe. Make sure you share your thoughts in the comment section down below. I'll be reading all of them kama kawaida. And if you like the video, give it a big thumbs up. Enough for that. Let us go straight into the video. Okay, so a foundation is never going to sit well on your skin unless you have prepped the skin. You have to moisturize your skin first before you apply foundation, okay? So you can start off with the serum, then sunscreen, then moisturizer, then primer in that order. For me, I already applied my serum. I'm going to pin it on the description box. And then I'm just going directly on to my sunscreen, which is Bondi Sands SPF 50. This is a very moisturizing sunscreen, so I don't need to add moisturizer on top of that. Then after, I'm going to apply primer. My primer, I'm going to use a Rimmel Stay Matte Primer. And I'm only going to apply that on my T-zone area because I have dry skin. If you have oily skin, on the other hand, make sure you apply the primer on all the areas you have open pores. And for this, I'm just going to tap it in so it is absorbed into the skin, and then again allow for it to set first. Even with the serum and sunscreen and moisturizer, you allow for the products to set first before you move on to the next step. So for each step, allow for it to set first. And then after that, before I apply the foundation, I'm going to color correct only because I have dark circles on my under eyes. So you're only going to color correct in case you have hyperpigmentation. That means in case there is parts of your faces where it is darker than the other places, you color correct first before you apply foundation. And here you're going to use your finger and just apply a tiny bit of product, okay? I'm using an orange color corrector from LA Girl. And again, little product goes a long way. Don't use too much. In case you have long nails, you can use a brush, but again, emphasis on little product, okay? And then after that, I'm just going to use a finishing compact powder to set in that color corrector so it does not move. It stays in place, okay? Remember, after this, we're going to blend in our foundation. Make sure that color corrector stays in place before you do that. Now, moving on to foundation, I'm going to use the Nars foundation. This is a very good foundation for a person with dry skin. My shade is Macao. If you have oily skin, you can use the Maybelline Lumi Matte foundation. Now it's very good. It's a very good option for people with oily skin. Make sure it's a matte foundation for oily skin, okay? And then to apply that, I'm going to use a damp beauty blender. Make sure you have wet that beauty blender with water, okay? And then after that, you squeeze out the excess water, all of it out. Okay, you can use a dry towel to squeeze out the excess water, and then now you can use a damp beauty blender to blend in the foundation. And to blend in, we're going to tap using very little force, okay? Tap it in and take your time to blend that in. Tap as you blend in. Don't drag the product around. You're tapping it in. And guys, we do not apply foundation under the eyes, okay? So we're going to start off around the cheek area there, moving to our neck. Remember to blend in the neck as well, around the lips as well. And again, little product goes a long way. As I said, no products under the eyes. Now, around the nose region, you're going to use very little product, starting just on the bridge of the nose first. Tap off the excess product and use the remaining product on the beauty blender below the nose, and then tap off again the excess product, and then use the remaining product on the corner of the nose, so you don't end up using too much product around the nose region. Guys, too much cream product around the nose region, here is where we have the most texture. It's going to show. That is when you start looking like you have used too much, like it's breaking around the nose because you use too much cream product. Now for the forehead, you're going to start blending in between the eyebrows. Now as you go up to the forehead itself, you're going to start blending just above the eyebrow, from left to right, right to left as you go up. Left to right, right to left. so the product spreads out evenly. You don't end up using too much product around the hairline, okay? And again, emphasis on little product goes a long way. Do you see how the product has spread out? And then the product remaining on the beauty blender is what you're going to use on the sides, because remember the sides is a very it's a very tiny space. You don't want to use too much product, okay? So this next step is not very important. You're going to use a cream blush. I normally use a cream lipstick, whichever color of cream lipstick I want to use as a blush, okay? For me today, I was feeling pink. So where to place that blush? You're going to place it on the high points of the cheek. High points, okay? And you're tapping it in. Remember, it's a cream product. You are tapping it in. Again, don't use too much product, okay? Just on the high points as instructed, and you do that before you highlight. Now to highlight, I'm going to use the LA Girl Pro Concealer in the shade Fawn, and I'm going to start highlighting the under eyes. And you're going for highlighting, guys, you're going to use a concealer 2 shades lighter than your skin tone. Especially for my beginners, don't use 3 shades lighter, don't use 4 shades. You're still a beginner, you don't know how to blend this in. Take your time to learn fast before you go on to use these complicated techniques. So I'm just going to use that under the eyes. So for the under eyes, I'm going to apply that on the inner corner and outer corner as instructed in the video. Inner corner and outer corner, okay? And this is more of a dewy-ish. It's not a very matte concealer. You can call it a soft matte, but it has a dewy finish to it, okay? If you have oily skin, use a matte concealer, okay? Again, for the under eyes, you're starting inner corner, outer corner. And then you're going to highlight the bridge of the nose after that. And for the bridge of the nose, you're going to use very little product. Don't use too much. And then you're going to highlight the forehead as well. And when you're highlighting the forehead, make sure the product comes in between the eyebrows, okay? Make sure that product comes in between the eyebrows. And then because this concealer is a bit dewy, you're going to give it a bit of time for it to set, maybe a minute for it to set first before you blend it in. If you're going to use a matte concealer, on the other hand, blend it in immediately before it dries out, okay? Now to blend in, I would recommend you start off with the bridge of the nose and the forehead before you come back and blend in the under eyes. Make sure the under eyes are your last resort for blending, because immediately after you're done blending the under eyes, you need to set them immediately after so you don't end up creasing under the eyes. And again, for blending the forehead, same technique, start in between the brows. As you go up, you're going to blend left to right, right to left, so that concealer blends into the foundation. We don't want to see where your concealer stops, where your foundation starts on your forehead, okay? And then the last resort should be your under eyes. And guys, somebody had upset me here. I was crying, I'm sorry. But anyway, now last resort for blending the highlighter is the under eyes. You're going to start blending from the inner corner going towards the outer corner. From the inner corner towards the outer corner. And guys, remember here for cream products, any cream products you're using, the blending technique is tap, tap, tap. Now, as you blend on the outer corner here, you blend it in an upwards direction so it lifts up your face, okay? Don't bring that concealer down. Make sure it stays in that angle. Do you guys see that? So it lifts up your face. You don't want to drag your face down, okay? Again, take your time to blend. Beginners, take your time to blending. Requires time, it requires effort, it requires patience. Now on the upper side here, if you use too much product, blend it to the sides so they all blend in. Do you guys see that? Do that on the other side as well. Now, as I said, you have to set in the under eyes immediately after blending. Now to set, you're going to start off with using a compact finishing powder that matches the shade of that concealer. You're going to use your beauty blender. The side that has product, that is the side you're going to use. You're going to dab on the product first, and then use that product to set. Now to set, you're going to press it in. Do you see that? Press it in so that product stays in place, and you're going to set all the areas you highlighted using a concealer after that. So you're going to start by setting the under eyes first. Always set the under eyes first before you move on to the rest of the face, okay? And remember to set in your smile lines as well. Now, for setting, you always start with a compact powder first, and then you move on to a loose setting powder. Now, for a loose setting powder, you're going to use the same beauty blender again. The side that has product, take some of the product and make sure you either blow off the excess product from the beauty blender or tap off the excess product from the beauty blender first before you use it. Okay? Don't just be applying powder all over. Blow off or tap off the excess powder and use the remaining product on the beauty blender to go over the areas you set using the compact powder, okay? So same areas, that would be the under eyes, bridge of the nose, forehead, and along your smile lines if you must. And after you're done with that, you can take a powder puff and use a compact finishing powder again on top of it, especially under the eyes. It makes a difference. Try it. Now for us, we're going to focus more on a bronzer instead of a contour, and where to place the bronzer. Okay, you're going to place your hands like this. The thumb is going to be below the nose, index finger above the ear, so you can place it where your jaw line stops, okay? And you're going to blend that in on the high points of the cheek, starting from the hairline coming down, and it should stop where your pupil ends, okay? Don't bring it all the way down. And then the product remaining, you can use it to blend around at the forehead, and here you're making sure you bronze it, blending it into the hairline. This next step is very optional. We're going to learn how to nose contour. You're going to use a powder that is 2 shades darker than your skin tone. So you're going to start off with a flat brush. You're going to place that flat brush where your eyeshadow stops on a 45-degree angle, both sides, so it gives you a guideline on where exactly to do the contour lines. Now as you pick up the product, make sure you tap off the excess product on the brush as you draw the contour lines. Now for drawing the contour lines, you're going to tap, tap, tap. Okay, do you see that? Tap, tap, tap as you go down. Don't drag the products down, and make sure you cover that line on the lower side as instructed in the video. Now to blend that in, remember we started off with a flat brush, sorry. To blend that in, you're going to use a fluffy brush. Make sure it's a clean, fluffy brush. Okay, and then you're going to start blending from the upper side. The upper side, you blend it into the eyeshadow. As you go down, you're going to tap it downwards like that, and each time make sure you tap off the excess product as you go. Make sure you tap off the excess product from the brush, and remember here we use a clean fluffy brush. Next we're going to use a blush. Now a powder blush, again high points of the cheek, especially on the upper side. You blend it into the hairline on the upper side. Your focus is towards the hairline, not all the way down here. So again, you lift up your face, and then after you can just use a finishing powder that matches your skin tone to blend all the areas you did not use powder on, okay? And that would include the neck. Remember to set the foundation you use on the neck, okay? And then you can just use it to go over the nose contour so you don't have any harsh lines. And then after that, you can use a setting spray. And beginners, I don't care if you have oily skin or dry skin, use a dewy setting spray. Okay, leave the mattes alone for now, because dewy setting spray is the way they just blend in the product and the product looks like skin. And then after that, this is a very new technique, guys. You can use a clear gloss as highlighter, and for this you're going to use a fluffy brush for application, and you're going to dab just where you place your highlighter. Dab on it. Don't use circular motions, just a little dab, and use very little product, okay? And that is it, guys. This is our finish. See how the skin is looking like skin? The technique matters when it comes to blending, guys. Skin still looks like skin. It does not look cakey. It does not look overpowered. You still look beautiful, And I hope you learned something from this tutorial, guys. I had an amazing time teaching you guys. Please subscribe, and I shall be seeing you guys on my next video. Thank you for watching. Bye.